Hello, everybody. What's up? Welcome back to Vets Talk. Hey, once again, we are back with a special guest tonight. Before we start, I want to say thank you for everyone who's watching this live right now, and for those of you who's going to watch the replay, also thank you very much. If you are under the live, please feel free to leave us a comment so we can bring your comment up, and thank you for being here. And let us know where you're watching from, because we're on the different platforms. We're on YouTube, we're on Facebook also, and we're also on LinkedIn for the first time. So for those of you who's watching on LinkedIn, I appreciate you. And this is our first LinkedIn Live, our first official LinkedIn Live. So I think we're doing pretty good down there on LinkedIn, but I don't have my LinkedIn screen up, so I can tell you what we look like at LinkedIn right now. So if you're on LinkedIn, give me a favor. Let us know if you're listening, if you can hear us good, or how's the videos looking at. Before we introduce our guest tonight, I want to say thank you to a couple folks who help us out a lot lately, trying to put this show, trying to put this program to what it is right now. So we've been in this journey for a while. So I want to thank those folks down in Ecamm Live who are always there giving us the support. I also want to thank the Cisco Caribbean Restaurant, who also there in Orlando, who always come to our program and say, what can we do to make this better? And we also want to thank Franz Business Management for all his advice, all of his counsel, and whenever we need anything is always there. So if you're in Orlando, those are the two businesses in Orlando supporting this program, and we appreciate them very, 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 very much. And it looks like we're going great. And we see Angel Diaz is in LinkedIn, is watching in LinkedIn right now. How you doing, Angel? Angel, I'm not sure. I don't want to say your rank. I I don't think you're lieutenant still. I don't want to say lieutenant and now you're captain. So if I don't say it, well, don't be mad at me. We also saying hello to Freimeyer, who's watching us also in LinkedIn. He said audio and video is good. That's from Daniel. Thank you, Daniel. And Tanis also is in LinkedIn watching and said we're doing okay. So I appreciate you guys. So tonight, if you have a questions, please, 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 please put a Q in front of your question. Put Q slash. That way, when the comments come in, I can bring the questions up for Sam, which is our special guest tonight, and he'll be able to answer your questions. So the reason I wanted somebody to come talk to us about LinkedIn today, if you active duty and you're about to separate, you go to extensive training and get those transition classes where they teach you pretty much everything. And one of them is the LinkedIn portion. But because we're always busy and not really focusing on that part, maybe that was my mistake. But a lot of us don't take advantage of a platform like LinkedIn to to appreciate what it has to offer. And it's not until it's too late that we realize, oh my God, this is a great platform. Maybe I should have been in here way longer and spend more time here. So this is the reason why we say, okay, you know what? Let me bring somebody, an expert that I know who can help us and tell us what LinkedIn is really about and how to navigate it. So tonight, we have the pleasure to have with us Sam Lee. Sam is an Air Force vet who accomplished a lot on his career. Sam was a finance guy, he was a cop, he was an inspector general, and even as a civilian, Sam was doing great things. He was an engineer for Sprint, helped push the Sprint Direct Connect. You remember the little walkie-talkies that we love when Sprint first came out with it? And also, Sam is the chairman for Impact Vet. Okay, and we're gonna take a little bit to talk to Sam about Impact Vet as well. But most importantly, Sam is passionate about helping other people, and he has dedicated a lot of time to do so. So tonight we are happy to have him on our platform and to share his knowledge with us on how we can use LinkedIn effectively to improve our career, but not only our career, but our businesses as well. Sam, my brother, how you doing?
Great. Thank you for having me on, Johnny.
Man, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I know you are a very, very busy person and you're taking some time out your busy schedule to help us out. And I'm grateful for that. Sam, we're going to jump right into it because I know you don't have a lot of time to spend here. Before we jump into the subject, can you give us a little background? Who's Sam? What do you do? And who are you? So we can establish a background right now so everybody know who we're talking with.
Yeah, so like you said, I'm an Air Force veteran. I went in right before 9/11, and then when 9/11 happened, I went from finance to becoming a security forces or a cop. And then after a couple of years, I transitioned and went into the IG Corps for a little bit. And then I got out in 2006. And joined Sprint and moved up the ranks to architect and engineer and doing a lot of fun stuff with that. And then now I'm the training manager at a schoolhouse called New Horizons here in Jacksonville, and helping and training students to with their career transition
Mm-hmm.
into IT. So we have a lot of veterans that leaving the military that were like cooks or doing something totally different, and then helping them transition into IT. And this job is important because it gives me the time to, like you said, give back. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I love helping fellow veterans, and this gives me the opportunity and the time to do more and go participate with like Wounded Warrior and Onwards Opportunity and a couple other organizations where I go and talk to them about LinkedIn and how to network and how to fix your resumes and stuff like that to
Mm-hmm.
help veterans get into jobs, hopefully better, faster, and everything else.
Actually, when we first met, it was at O2O on Word
Yes, it
2. Yeah,
was.
yeah. We you did that class, and I was like, oh my god, this is good. And then, of course, when you go home, lives happen. So I had
Yep.
to go back to trying to find some of those old PowerPoint or some of those old notes that I took to help me out. Sam, tell us what is that LinkedIn platform is all about? I mean, I want you to start like with the basics so we can have a basic understanding before we jump deeper.
Yeah, so a lot of times, people say LinkedIn is professional, right? And it is. You should be professional because it impacts your career, and that's how you should look at it. But one thing that people forget, it is still a social network. And the main purpose, and there's two real purposes for LinkedIn. The main purpose is networking. It allows you to connect with people that will, assist you in your career or assist you in your business, help you grow, help you gain more knowledge or whatever else. Um, and then the other part is, beyond the networking part, which is crucial. That's the social part. The professional part is really showcasing who you are for your potential future employers or clients or whatever the case may be.
Okay. So now you mentioned the part professional, but you kind
Yep.
of like it's still a social platform. What do you mean by that?
So, people try, and so a lot of times when you look at LinkedIn, uh, the biggest complaint I get or that I hear is that LinkedIn doesn't work to help you like find a job, and the reason being is that one person comes on once every year or 2 years or whatever, and they just put one post, I need a job, and
Hmm.
then that's it, right? It's still a social network. So you still need to interact. You still need to spend time on the network. You still have to provide value, right? So that's the social aspect of it. The professional aspect of it is I don't care about seeing you eat. I don't care what you have for dinner. I want to know who you are from a professional perspective. So, Johnny, you have a great background and a lot of knowledge and information. I want you to share that knowledge and information with the rest of LinkedIn. So, your technical information, your technical knowledge, things of that nature.
Okay.
Whereas on Facebook, they might not care. On LinkedIn, we do care.
Now, the problem I think a lot of people's having with LinkedIn is even me when I first started using LinkedIn is how they set up that profile to make it, I would say, more appealing to the people they're trying to bring to the network.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about that.
So I think the biggest mistake that you'll find, and this information that has been kind of pushed from TAPS, from for our veterans. As you transition now, you go through TAPS, and they tell you like copy your resume straight into your LinkedIn profile. The
I've heard that.
problem with that is, you heard that, right? And
Yes.
the problem with that is, if I have your resume and I have someone else's resume and I'm comparing the two, and I'm like, okay, I like both of these people, but I only have enough time to really talk to one. And I go to both of your profiles, and your profile tells me something more about you, and my profile is just the exact same copy of my resume. The hiring manager didn't learn anything about you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, your technical ability is a very small aspect of you getting the job, right? A bigger portion of you getting the job is rapport. Do I like you, right?
Mm-hmm.
If, you know, at the end of the day, you and I, if we're working together, we're going to spend a lot of time together. We're going to spend a lot of time talking about different topics and things of that nature. So, how do I want to spend that time with you? And if the answer is no, then I'm not going to want to hire you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Rapport is such a big aspect of it. So LinkedIn is your profile is an opportunity to show who you are to make that person want to talk to you. And also, if you're transitioning, so, like I said, a lot of people are trying to go from military careers that have no IT background, let's say, into IT or into project management or whatever, career that they're trying to get into. If it's a new career, now you get to talk about, what you know about the career and why you're passionate about wanting to try and, transition into that space.
Okay. Now, one thing you mentioned when we first met, you talk about when you're on LinkedIn, you have to start talking. So, what was what did you mean? Like, it's just start talking.
Well, you have to, it's a social network and we want to know who you are. So you have to start posting, right?
Mhm.
So, it's not like Twitter though. Like, I don't want to see like 20 messages or posts from you every day. It's not Instagram where we expect to see 2 to 3 posts per day. Really, it's just one post 2 to 3 times a week and just giving us information, right? So sharing something about what you're going through. So you went through O2O,
Mm-hmm.
and so so I was like, well, if you're when you're going through that program and you're studying different things and you have a question, ask the question on LinkedIn. There's professionals here that can answer that, right? If you pass your certification, post it on LinkedIn. You know if you want to share a tip on how to study something, post it on LinkedIn. So there's ways to find, you know, what to post. You just got to do it on a regular basis, 2 to 3 times a week.
Okay. Now there is an aspect of business in LinkedIn as well. So it's not just personal, but there's
Correct.
a business aspect. Can you break down that portion for us?
On the personal side, it's all about getting a job. On the business side, it's all about trying to get that sale or getting to that client. Trying to reach that person that can help you with your business. And sometimes it's advisory boards or finding someone that can give you and mentor you, or sometimes it's finding that client. But once again, people see LinkedIn and say, "Oh, here are professionals," and my inbox gets inundated every day with, buy this, buy this, buy this, buy this. Like, I see that you're a manager. Do you need help hiring and all this other stuff?
Mhm.
And I've never interacted with them. I've never seen them post anything. I don't know if they're a professional or not. You know, the people that I do see, and if I do need help in like recruiting, then I have friends that are recruiters that post on LinkedIn, and I can see what they do, and I can see how successful they are. They're the people I'm going to reach out to, right? So you're coming to me as an expert. That's what I see, you know, and that's what you're telling me, that you're an expert in this business, but I don't see it,
So
right?
the aggressive selling portion doesn't work. So basically, they should be more active of showing what they are capable of doing.
Correct. And I think that's across all social media platforms, right? If you're on social media, you can I can go on any platform, Instagram, right? And I can just bombard people and say buy, 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 buy. I can make a post, 4 times a day, beautiful pictures that says buy this candle, buy this candle, buy this candle, and no one cares. No one because they just get bored of seeing that buy content,
Hmm.
right? Now, if you're going to tell me about how your candle is safer, why it's burns cleaner, why the scent is better, or whatever,
Mhm.
now, or if you teach me how the process on how it was made, now I that's a story, you know,
Okay.
and we are, as humans, we are storytellers, and people forget that this is still a social network. Tell a story.
Now there is the portion for recommendation and endorsement. So
hmm
what's the trick for this one?
So for recommendations and endorsements, obviously it's always easier to get a recommendation than after you give one. So I would give you a recommendation, and then I would say, "Hey, Johnny, can you give me one too?" Now, with the recommendations, it's when you give a recommendation, it's showing who you are as a person and your ability to kind of see greatness in others, right? And your empathy and your leadership. When you receive a recommendation, this is now where, when you tell people that you're the best, candle maker, you're the best manager or the best public speaker or whatever the case may be, this is an opportunity for someone else to say those things, right?
Yeah.
I could say that I'm a great teacher until I'm blue in the face, but if I have students that are writing me recommendations and telling me that, then now if you came to my profile, you would see that, right? So to get that kind of recommendation, what I would do is when I ask for a recommendation, I would ask you, Johnny, for a recommendation. And I'll say, hey, Johnny, can you write me a recommendation about how good of a public speaker I am?
Hmm.
Right? Because you've seen me speak in front of a group,
Yeah.
right? Now, instead of me just saying, hey, write me a recommendation, and then you have to imagine and think up a recommendation, I gave you a writing prompt,
Hmm.
which makes it a lot easier.
Okay. And we also have to mention that LinkedIn also do groups, just like every other social media, that you can be
Yeah.
part of, different type of group. Uh, does it fall under the same category, or just basically picking and choose what group you prefer, what group you like the most, or what you want to be active on?
Yeah, and once again, it just allows you to be part of, just like any other, like Facebook or any other platform. It allows you to be around people that are like-minded. So if you are part of the same veterans group, there's a lot of veteran groups, then you get to be around other veterans and help each other out. So and it gives you more reach and to ask for help or to try and sell or for jobs or whatever the case may be.
Okay. Now, so when we're creating content, because I create a lot of content like for Facebook or YouTube, sometimes for
Hmm.
Instagram, and when you're creating content, sometimes when we talk about LinkedIn, I think a lot of people are a little bit afraid to put content on LinkedIn. I know you mentioned earlier that if you have a certificate, you post that. You get your brand new
Yeah.
degree, you post that. Now, is it a certain category? Because I don't want people to be afraid to post on LinkedIn because they say, well, this is just about business, or I don't have a business, I have this. Is it a certain category of content that somebody needs to create for a platform like LinkedIn?
I would say try and think about, just like any other platform, is think about your audience, right? Are you trying to write for a future employer? So if you are trying to leave the military and you're trying to go into a new job, talk about the industry, right? So if you're trying to go and become a chef, you're going to culinary school, talk about your passion for cooking, talk about your what you're learning, talk about different chefs and what you're pulling, the knowledge that you're pulling from them. That's what I would be focused on, instead of trying to make it overcomplicated. Keep it simple, right?
Okay.
Talk about your passions, and talking about passions is great, right? Even if it's a hobby, as long as it's you know PG,
Yeah,
for
of
the most
course.
part, you know, and then that's where the professional comes in, right? Sometimes some hobbies are not so PG. Probably not talk about that.
Yeah, true. Now I have another questions for you, but we're gonna take a questions from the audience. Freimeyer have a questions for you. Freimeyer is listening, is watching us from LinkedIn. All right. Question says, Sam, when you first started out in LinkedIn, did you have someone who show you the ropes, or did you have a mentor advise you on how to build your profile?
No, it was a lot of trial and error. So when I first started, I it was in 2016, 2015, 16, and LinkedIn was starting to really grow and kind of come into being a real social platform. This is the same time that Michael Quinn and Michaela Alexis and Eli Hochberg and a couple other folks we were all starting at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were making a lot of mistakes, and we didn't understand how the LinkedIn algorithm worked. We didn't understand how to post. We didn't fully understand our profiles yet. So we were tweaking everything constantly, and we were reaching out to people on LinkedIn, and they were telling us like, "Hey, try this and try this," and then we will share it with each other. So I'm connected with a lot of these creators that kind of blew up like 4 or 5 years ago
Mm-hmm.
because we were all doing it at the same time.
Well,
But it was a lot of trial and error.
now I like that question that Primary asked. Primary, thank you for the questions. We have the capability to create a profile live, okay?
Yeah,
And I would like to do that if we still have some time, because
yeah, let's do
that
it.
yeah, that way people get a chance to see what we're talking about. And when we're putting the information, the password, we'll cover that. People won't be able to see it. But I would like to do that live because I think there's a lot of area that's need to be covered when we talk about it. So let's talk about a little bit about professional etiquettes on LinkedIn. So what are some of key points that somebody need when they're creating their profile for LinkedIn?
So when you're creating a profile for LinkedIn, there's kind of two main points, right? Think about rapport, right? When someone looks at your profile, how are they going to connect with you as a person,
Mm-hmm.
not as a potential employee or whatever, right? So, how are they going to connect with you as a person? And to do that, we use something called a human voice, which we'll talk about here shortly. And then the other part is so it's establishing rapport, and then really talking through about kind of keeping the storyline the same across your whole profile, right? You don't want to be jumping all over the place, like in one section you're like, I want to be a project manager, and then another section is I want to be in IT, and another section is like I want to create my own business. And I see that a lot too, is where the profile gets disjointed. you know you want to keep a um, very good transition, very across the board, the same story, and make sure it's kind of a very human voice where you're telling a story.
Okay. Now I have another question from you. It's coming from LinkedIn from Daniel. Daniel said you want to provide a little more content of yourself on LinkedIn without blurring out your resume. But as we searching for job, what sort of group should we follow?
So a lot of um, there are obviously the job seeker. LinkedIn has their professional career groups, right? Now, I would look for, especially for veterans, I would look for veteran groups in the cities that you are, looking to work in. And, luckily here in Jacksonville, we have so many different groups like Vets on Tap and things of that nature. And I would join those groups. There's onwards opportunity groups all over the place. I would join those groups. And that's what I would do is look for veteran pockets of veteran groups, especially in cities
Mm-hmm.
that you want to work in, and really focus on a specific city. If you can't find a specific city, then look for the bigger, greater kind of veteran groups to join.
Okay. Thank you. Now, um, we're gonna have an opportunity to create at least a profile while we're here so people can have an idea. Now lately, when you're creating a profile, you see some of those profiles out there, right? They have a background, they have a picture, they have everything that is needed to make the profile like
Yeah.
outstanding. So do they have a trick for that? Sam, can you share with us what make a profile like just popping in somebody eyes and say, "Oh man, I want to connect with this person."
So the really is that top portion, right? So you kind of hit the nail on the head. That banner and your picture, and then underneath your picture is kind of your headline. Those are the first things that people see, and that's kind of where you want to focus on, right? So with your banner picture, you can either find a picture online. um, I put Shea Stadium on my profile
Mm-hmm.
because that's baseball. I love baseball, and it's home. It's New York City. you know or you can use something like Canva, which is a free graphics tool to create your own profile banner, and then take a professional picture. And by professional, I just mean put on a nice clean shirt, and then just go up against a blank wall and have someone take a picture of you, right? It doesn't have to be a professional headshot or anything, but just and for veterans, something out of uniform. So unless you're going for a government job, I know everyone looks sharp in their class A's and everything, but that's you're not going to wear that class A to the job, right?
Yeah.
So unless you're going to go for a government job, we need to see you in some civvies.
Well, I see a lot of LinkedIn profile, Sam, with uniform. So you say
Yeah,
that that's not a good idea.
yeah, because it just doesn't show your ability to assimilate into civilian culture, right? How are you going to fit into my team? And inside in your uniform, it doesn't tell me how that's going to happen.
Wow. That's I'm surprised because there's a lot of people that I see in uniform. I think my first profile picture was in uniform. I mean, I was excited. You know?
Yeah, you look sharp, right? I mean, you
Yeah,
look sharp, you look clean, you have all your ribbons and you look good.
yeah.
And but once again, it's, that's not the job you're looking for. You're
Hmm.
not looking for a job in the military. You're not looking for a job with the military or with the government. And if you are, then that's okay. Keep your uniform picture. But
Hmm.
if you're trying to work for Sprint or T-Mobile or Walmart or whatever,
Hmm.
or Amazon, how does that fit into their culture?
Hmm.
How does you in your uniform fit into Amazon or Google or Facebook?
Well, is it like you say? Well, maybe they'll say that I'm really truly a veteran. Maybe I don't know, but that's a good advice because I don't have my. After you did dog class, I will move my uniform picture. So, but I'm glad you mentioned that. Now the other part we talk about the banner and you're talking about the pictures. When we're talking about your description, like your profile, when you're talking about yourself,
Yep.
yours is it's so different. A lot of people basically, if it's not the resume, it's a what would I call
It's
it?
a close copy
Yeah,
of the
it's
resume.
very close. It's very close.
Yeah.
But yours is a little bit more personal, right?
Yeah.
Why did you go that route?
So we found, like I said, when we were first starting this out a couple of years ago, you know, your resume already talks about your professional, who you are as a professional. And this is still a social media platform. So let's be social. Let's create that. Once again, it's that human voice. So I'm telling you a story about me, right? So when you come to my profile, you are learning about me. So if I was to sit with you, Johnny,
Mm-hmm.
and we're at we went in and we got a beer or whatever, or we're having dinner, I'm not gonna talk like I talk on my resume, right?
True.
You know, like So what's your background, Sam? A professional leader that blah 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 blah. Like, who talks like that, right? You know, when we started the interview today, we were talking about my background. So, I'm an Air Force veteran, and I did this, and right? That's human voice. And the other part of it with that about section and just the whole profile in general is that human voice allows us to tell a story. And if you're trying to get into a new job, if you're trying to get into your next level or whatever the case may be, you get to tell me like and show me your passion for that, right? So I think that's important. Like, we want to see your passion. We want to see, what you're trying to achieve. We want to see where you were great, and a lot of times, a lot of that stuff gets lost on your resume. So now you have a chance to tell me that story.
Wow, that's a great way to put it. I did not thought about it that way. Now, the other opportunity for those of us who have businesses, maybe a small business, maybe an organization, is opportunity for hire. Okay, like you can go on LinkedIn when you can look at somebody on a profile or you connect with that person, you start networking with that person, and you say, okay, that person is a great fit for my business. As somebody who run businesses, have you reach out to people from that network and employ people to work on your business just from being at LinkedIn?
Yeah. So for like Onwards Opportunity, I've actually hired people from Onwards Opportunity through LinkedIn. And I use LinkedIn quite a bit for hiring. Anytime I'm looking for a new staff member, I look towards LinkedIn to get it out there. So to get quality candidates to apply. And then, for my businesses and stuff, I when I push content out to, LinkedIn and to all my platforms, then I'm always telling a story, right? It's never a hard push. And I always find that I get more traction and engagement that way.
All right. So we talked earlier. We're gonna take that other half to try to create a LinkedIn profile. So while Sam was talking to you and giving you the information, so I was actually typing already, so we can put the password and stuff like that, so you guys won't have to see that. Okay. Now what you're seeing in the screen is I created basically a profile for VetStalk, and this is what it looks like when you just get in there. So Sam, you can see why some people can feel like, man, that's a lot of information, right?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
it can definitely be overwhelming.
So if we go home, so right now I don't have anything in there, right? So where where would we start?
I can't see your screen.
Oh, hold on. Let me see. Let me see if I can show you the screen.
Okay.
Okay. So this is what I was talking about. So we already created it. Okay, it's already sent me an email. You want me to confirm, but anyway, we in there right now, right?
Yep.
So where will we start?
So the first thing I would do is I would click on where it says me up on top,
Okay.
on the upper right
Yep.
hand corner right there,
Mm-hmm.
and then click on view profile.
Okay.
And this is kind of where we're going to play in for the next, the foreseeable future. But the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to change your link. So
Okay.
when people try and find you, the link that you put on your business cards and your resumes, and we're going to start by clicking on edit public profile and URL right there.
Okay. It's
Yep.
right there. Now, if you guys seeing it, please let us know you are saying it, because I just wanted to do it live so you can have an idea, because that was a question who asked about it, so you can have an idea what Sam was talking about. Okay, so
So
we to the profile setting.
so this is what your profile looks like, and all the way to the right, you should see. Oh, sorry, scroll
Yep,
down just a little bit where it says
yep,
edit your content URL.
yep, right
And
there.
so we would click that little pencil to the right. Yep. And then we would change that. So this is Vet Talk.
Vet stock.
So
It's
and
just
I would probably just put Vets Talk.
yep,
Yeah.
and just save it.
And then click save. Yep. And now you have a nice, clean, easy link to find, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas before it was, your first name, your last name, and a lot of kind of gibberish. At the very least, you want to get rid of that gibberish. You have a very custom name now. So now you can put this on your business card, your resumes, or whatever, and it's nice, clean, and easy to find.
Okay, good. Now, as we're going, I go back to home.
Go back to your previous tab. Yeah.
Okay, so now from home.
So go back to your profile one more time.
Okay.
And this is where we're going to start messing with stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So
The
you
banner,
already
for
have
example.
yeah. So for the banner, click on
I
that.
I already have a banner saved, but obviously you can pick from the gallery.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. If you already have a banner saved, I would
So
upload that.
so let's do that, guys, because I want you to see how easy it is. Before the show, I know that could be a question, so I created a banner from Canva. Okay, you can get a free account. And the other part about Canva, you mentioned Canva earlier. If you have a non-profit, you can get Canva for free. The next up, not the free account, but I think the standard, or you can get that for free under your non-profit. That's what somebody told me.
Yes.
So, all right. So there it is.
Yep.
And we just apply it. And just like that.
Yep.
Okay. So of course I will change, we'll have to change that picture right here because it's already underneath it. But it looks good by doing it like this on top of it. So
Yeah, and it just showcases something about you, right? And at the end of the day, that's the main thing that we're looking for is continue to keep that showcase. Now, the next thing I would do is, you have your name out there. That little space underneath your name is your headline, right?
then there's a
So
little
that's a
dots right there.
yeah. So normally that would just be like your job title
Mm-hmm.
and the company. Well, that's boring, right? So we can click on that little pencil right there,
Right there.
and then where it says scroll
Headline.
down, headline. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So now you can put anything you want. You can put a quote. You can put that you're currently looking for, a new IT position or whatever job that you're looking for. But it just say, you know, as soon as someone comes to your profile, it's an immediate message to them on what to expect.
Okay. All right. So since we're just doing an example, I'm gonna go back later on and fix that. So I'm just gonna put connecting with the world.
Great.
So you just save it. Of course, it's gonna ask the question what industry.
Yep.
Uh, oops, I don't want to do that. What about we just put business to see well, we're not in business and supply.
How about military? Government?
Yeah, let's try that. Here we go.
There you go.
Okay, and of course, in the bottom right here, you filled out all of your accomplishment as far as education and
Yep.
contact, right? So let's save that. So it will build up really nice right here, right under the name. It will say that. But I'm gonna change the name because I want it to be VetStalk because it's more like a business. I already have a LinkedIn profile, so let's do that. I need to change this one right here. Put it all caps too. Okay. All right.
Great.
So,
Yeah.
all right, Sam. What's next?
So now I would click on add profile. So if you're missing any sections, you can click on add profiles just underneath your name in the middle
Mm-hmm.
there. And then any section, so like you can add the about section. I think it should be already
Yep.
added. Yep,
Yeah, those already added. Those in gray already added. I think it's those who's in the dark color who have not been
correct.
added. Okay.
So since the about section is already added, we can go ahead and hit X. And so let's add something to that, right?
Yeah. All right, what about we just go to the core? Okay, that's the core. Nope. Let's go to
Yep.
recommended. Um.
Looks like they just tossed everything into yours
Yeah.
already.
Yeah.
So makes it easy.
Yeah. Or they make it very easy. Okay. So that's that part. You guys can go later on and fulfill that part. And as we go down more, what's the next step?
Just keep scrolling a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Keep going. Actually,
Okay.
they did not add it. So, okay, let's
No,
go
they did not
back.
add it.
So, yeah, go click on add profile section and let's click on core
Okay, let's click on core. Let's
and
add
let's add
about.
about. Yep.
Oh, okay. I will have to put at least a line over here
Yep.
to
And
make
so
it.
the
Yeah.
recommendation is that you kind of, like I said, tell a story, tell me a little something about you, and don't give me like huge paragraphs, right? So every two or three sentences, add a line, make it easier for me to read it. Because remember, it's social media platform, so a lot of people are digesting this on their phones.
Hmm.
So we're always trying to put spacing to make it easier to read.
Okay. Um, and it's pretty much from there. It's pretty much sample of adding everything else. If you guys have some questions that I'm not getting, please feel free to ask it. That way, we can cover it. But from there, that's very easy. And that
Correct.
part for the banner, you could have picked a banner from the gallery. Um, but since I already had a banner that I created from Canva, I just added in there. So anybody can do that as well. Now, let's talk about LinkedIn Premium. Uh,
Yes.
LinkedIn Premium, there's a caveat to that for veterans, spouses, and dependent, right?
Well, so it's veterans, spouses, and caregivers.
Okay.
So not dependents, but if you're a veteran caregiver, if you're a veteran spouse, if you're a veteran active duty, you can get LinkedIn Premium for free. All you need to do is go to veterans.linkedin.com,
Okay.
and they will give it to you for free for a year. At the end of the year, you can request it again, and for the most part, they always approve it.
Nice. All right, Frymire, thank you. You see, Frymire, it's a great discussion. I appreciate your time as well, Sam. I need to drop off. No problem. Thank you for being here, Frymire, and I hope we answer your questions. Okay, so good. So now, after we do all of that, what is the what is the most important thing someone will have to add from here, Sam? After
So,
the profile and stuff like that.
So once your profile is done, you need to start connecting with people, right? So it's still so connect with people that you work with, connect with people you went to school with, that you go to church with, temple with, whatever. The people that are in your life, that were in your life in the past, because you never know who's going to be able to help
Mm-hmm.
you. And then connect with, you know, think about like what the purpose of LinkedIn is for you right now. I want to find a job. Well, start connecting with HR people, start connecting with recruiters, things of that nature. You're trying to sell something. Who are your clients? Start connecting with the people that might be your clients in the future, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, and then bring value to them.
Nice. All right. Um, Sam, the other, I mean, for a platform like this, who's, well, that's the biggest professional platform in the planet. I mean, why more people are not active on it? Is that what makes it such a best kept secret?
Well, it's slowly changing, right? More people are becoming more and more active on LinkedIn. I think it's people have this idea that LinkedIn is what it was 10 years ago, right? Where it was very kind of stuffy, it was very professional, and it was like, let me just connect with my business people, and people were using it kind of like a Rolodex,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, so let me, connect with you so that I can get in touch with you later on if I need you.
Hmm.
And today, and so that's why people would come onto LinkedIn, connect with someone, and then never use it again,
Hmm.
right? So it's almost like collecting business cards, you know,
So,
but that's not how it works.
okay, so now today, can you give us an insight of what they added and what's changing and what to look for the future for the platform?
They one of the things that LinkedIn did is they really started pushing for original content. So, they don't want to see people posting, I need a job.
Hmm.
They really don't want to see that. They want, and they don't, especially they don't want people to come on once a year or once whenever, once out of the blue and say, I need a job, and then they disappear,
Hmm.
right? They want people that are actively engaging and actively kind of using the platform. And then, so if you're using the platform on a regular basis, if you're posting, even if it's once a week or whatever, and people are engaging with you, they're liking your post, they're commenting on your post and stuff like that. Now, when you do post that you need a job,
Mm-hmm.
then LinkedIn is not going to suppress you.
Hmm.
And I think that's what one of the things that we're going to see is LinkedIn and their kind of algorithm, their AI algorithm is really working towards, you know, watching what you post, So if you post things that, you know, like one liners, like I
Mm-hmm.
need a job, they're just going to just suppress it. They're
That's it.
just not going to push it to anybody. You
Nice.
know, one of the things that we see with social media platforms is that, you have to have, you know, content that people care about.
All right, I have another questions for you. What is the best way to authenticate business profile on LinkedIn to avoid phishing attempts?
So your is to really use, like your business um, emails and stuff like that. So make sure you're not using a generic Gmail account or Yahoo account. If it's a business profile, make sure that everything is attached to your business. And so, like, to create a business profile, a company profile, you have to use your account. So I would convert your, personal email on your personal account to your business account. So Johnny at vetstalk.com.
Mm-hmm.
And then that way, it's harder for them to try and, you know, you know, try and pretend to be you or whatever. And then from there, set up things like multi-factor authentication and things of that nature too, so that people can't, pretend to be you. And if, as far as phishing attempts
Yeah.
on LinkedIn, it's really about, don't click on links. Like, you get a lot of people messaging you on LinkedIn and saying, "Hey, click on this link and whatever," and ignore those things. If they try to message you about something, pretending to be someone you know, and say, "Hey, click on this link for whatever reason," go directly to the site. Don't click on the link.
Okay.
So that's the biggest thing with phishing attacks is they're trying to get you to click on something. Don't click the link. Go directly to the source.
Okay. Now LinkedIn is becoming very, friendly towards content creators,
Hmm.
and now you can do LinkedIn Live. It was very difficult to do. Well, still difficult because you have to request to be able to do LinkedIn Live and get approved for it. And there's LinkedIn Audio now, audio
Yep.
rooms. You know, um, has more of those type of system come into play. How do you see the platform changing?
I think we are seeing this a little bit, right? Where we're seeing some of the same content from other platforms pushing in. So things like stuff that you would normally see on Facebook, on TikTok, on Instagram, you start seeing that stuff push into LinkedIn. And so now LinkedIn is trying to find a balance, right?
Mm-hmm.
They want to be the professional network, but they also want to be a social network. Where do we find that balance? And right now, with our platforms being, very kind of video forward with TikTok and, things like, what we're doing tonight, you know, they want us to do things like what we're doing, which is a live content, live broadcast
Mm-hmm.
of showcasing, this is a business topic. We're trying to grow our professional profiles and
Of
stuff.
course.
But on the flip side of that, you also have the people that are using LinkedIn Live for, you know, their Twitch stream.
Mm.
So now they're streaming on Twitch and LinkedIn and Facebook and YouTube and all these other, channels
Mm-hmm.
of them playing a video game. And LinkedIn is so we're going to see LinkedIn kind of go through their growing pains, and shows like you, they will keep pushing, and shows like that where it's just like gaming, they'll have to make a decision, and they'll probably start suppressing those here shortly.
All right. Um, Sam, I think that's it I have for the portion of LinkedIn, but I cannot let you leave here without talking about Impact Vets. So, can you
Yes.
tell us what is Impact Vets and what is the future holds for Impact Vets?
So Impact Vets, and I'm so glad you asked, is a political organization that was started because of the frustration with our elected officials when it came to veteran issues. With there's a lot of lip service on we care about veterans and we're fighting for our veterans and all this other stuff, but we don't see that necessarily in the actions of our elected officials. So Impact Vets was started to hold them accountable. So we're going to start looking at bills that are going through Congress, and if it's a bill that's not impactful, if it's a bill that was really kind of put there for political benefit and not for the benefit of veterans, we're going to call the elected official out on it. We're going to call them, we're going to have people write to them and say, hey, this is a bogus bill. Don't do stuff like this. But if there's a bill that's important, when there's things that will actually impact us and help veterans, help veterans get the stuff that they need, um, then we see a lot of those bills that just kind of cycle through, right? They sit in Congress for years and they just keep getting ignored. They go through from one committee to another committee, and now we want to take those bills, bring it to the front, and make sure everyone knows about it, and really put pressure on our elected officials to stop ignoring us, right?
Hmm.
And actually take action on the bills that are going to help us.
All right. Well, hey, man, I'm on board, and I invite everybody who's a veteran, even if you're not a veteran, to participate because
Yeah.
it's, well, I mean, we have to fight somewhere, right? And it's good that you're keeping them honest, and it's a good way to like, okay, hey, somebody have to hold them accountable for the promises. That's all, you know.
Yeah, we're
So.
so happy to have you on our advisory board. I'm so grateful and honored and humbled that you're taking time out of your busy schedule. I know how busy you are, and I know how much you do for your fellow veterans, and you know, th- that you're taking that time to help me out, to advise my organization. Means the world. It's
Yeah,
I
anytime, brother.
really I really believe that we can make a real true difference, and hopefully help our fellow our family, right, our brothers and sisters out
Hmm.
there.
Yep, true, true. All right. And Sam, I took almost like a full hour of your time. So I thank you for being here and for sharing your knowledge with us. And I think we have so much to talk about, but I cannot continue and keep going, guys. We have to stop the show somewhere. So we probably will bring Sam back again, but this time for Impact Vet so we can get to know the Impact Vets more and get to know about the organization more and get to have a chance to involve and volunteer and help this organization. Sam,
Yeah, I would love to
thank
do
you.
that.
Yeah, thank you very much, brother, and I appreciate you. I mean, I've learned so much just from what you were talking about. We were able to even do a little demonstration, so I think a lot of people wanted to see the banner thing. So that's that's a quick guide on how to create it and how to get it done really fast. And hopefully we'll have you back on our show, Sam, and to talk about specific subject, about specific things, but most importantly, impact vets as well.
Absolutely, thank you, Johnny.
Thank you, Sam. And I must say thank you to Funds Business Management for helping us out, Cisco Restaurant also for helping us out, and also Impact Vex for supporting the veterans out there. Everybody, thank you. Have a good night. Thank you for being here. The replay will be available on LinkedIn. It will be on Facebook, and it will be on YouTube. And as the days goes on, we will purpose it and put it out there, and you can use it anytime. And that's what we do. And everybody, good night. Sam, don't leave us. Wait for us in the green room, brother.
Yes, sir.
All right.